After Murdoc was arrested in Phase 5, 2D changed, or rather, he began to understand himself again, after so many years. His change was so noticeable that his own friends perceived him as behaving very strangely, and many fans even believed he might be possessed by him. But nothing could be further from the truth. Stewart was simply possessed by freedom. However, one day Murdoc returned home. 2D tried to carry on as he had been, but he couldn't. One way or another, things went back to the way they always were. At least now he was a little more independent. Murdoc continued to be a nuisance as if nothing had happened. It would be a while before we heard much about Gorillaz until the events of Song Machine, specifically in Momentary Bliss and Désolé, where we see a still happy 2D on his own, to the point that he and the rest of the band left Murdoc at New Kong Studios while they filmed the second episode. Embittered by this, Murdoc wanted to know how to use the portals no matter what, so he decided to take drastic measures. Episode 3, Aries. Murdoc and 2D go for a motorcycle ride, while Russell and Noodle try to warn 2D. And this is where a significant change occurs, as Stewart listens to Noodle this time and is now prepared for what's going to happen. At the end of the video, Murdoc takes out a syringe intending to inject 2D with a truth serum. However, the blue-haired man is now more attentive and violently takes the syringe away from Murdoc, shocking him. However, 2D loses control and they veer off the road, crashing into a lamppost. After the impact, 2D is unharmed, but Murdoc adds another of his countless punches to the nose to the list and ends up bleeding. "Look what you did. Don't you dare, Murdoc. Don't mess with me. I'm awake now. I'm alive." Murdoc doesn't know what to say, he doesn't know how to react, so he remains still, inert, until moments later Noodle and Russell reach them. Episode 4, Friday the 13th. From this point on, Song Machine sound changes overall. Starting with the next episode, Friday the 13th, 2D's verses speak of anything but a beautiful day. Now, his verses generally speak of freedom, change, evolution, and even power. He feels at the top of his game, and it's clearly noticeable. Episode 5, Pac-Man. Episode 5 is considerably different from the one we have currently, as the Pac-Man machine 2D was playing on was a gift from Murdoc to apologize for what he did. However, since none of that happened here, we can see 2D doing something more constructive, like working out. This makes some sense if we consider that it's happening in a context of both a pandemic and personal growth. This fact also alters the Pac-Man theme song in general, even down to its name. Russell, Noodle, and Schoolboy Q remain the same, while Murdoc is also in his orgone accumulator, but he seems more scared, angry, and generally unsure. He wants to do something, but doesn't know what. Episode 6, Strange Times. For Episode 6, everything remains pretty much the same. Murdoc explores the moon, goes through the monolith, and teleports to New Kong Studios. The only subtle difference might be that 2D has more screen time, but the message be the change remains unchanged. Once home, Murdoc takes off his space helmet and, as he does so, notices an entity passing through the hallway walls, more precisely, a pink phantom. Episode 7, The Pink Phantom. During Episode 7, this time Murdoc does manage to catch the pink phantom, as he doesn't bother interrupting the music video recording. Therefore, he doesn't move to the beat of the music as in the original version, but instead runs and easily catches the elusive ghost. Once Murdoc captures the pink phantom, he uses the orgone accumulator to seal himself in with him and absorb his energy. After a while of being locked up, Murdoc possesses the pink phantom's energy completely, which gives him more strength and causes his pupils to turn slightly dark pink. Now, with his newfound power, he's just waiting for the right opportunity to give 2D the beating of his life and put him in his place. Episode 8, The Valley of the Pagans. In Episode 8, Gorillaz go for a peculiar walk thanks to the portals. This time, 2D is driving, while Noodle is the co-pilot, and Russell accompanies Murdoc in the back. Murdoc is holding back his rage to let it out at the right moment, probably when they stop for a bite to eat. But none of that would happen, as at the end of the song, a portal transports the band to the place where they experience their traumas. That's right, Plastic Beach. Episode 9, The Lost Chord. After the four are shipwrecked in their old studio and home, the band remembers that dark time in their lives. Murdoc clearly has mixed feelings, as he didn't expect to be there again, and now faces a dilemma about whether to beat up 2D or not, because maybe he didn't deserve it, or did he? Lee John destroys Plastic Beach just like in the video. Murdoc climbs to the top of the lighthouse, then helps Noodle, Russell, and even 2D. After all, they just wanted to get out of there. However, everyone except Murdoc goes through the portal, but this time he doesn't feel fear, but anger because he basically felt like they had left him there. But when the portal opens again, 2D reaches out his hand. Murdoc is surprised and then hesitates. Come on, Murdoc, take my hand. After all, whether he hates it or not, 2D doesn't want Murdoc to die there. At that moment, Murdoc nods and smiles, but it's not a smile of relief, it's a smile of malice. Maybe it's because of how irrational the Pink Phantom's power makes him, or maybe he just doesn't know what to do, but Murdoc takes 2D's hand and pulls him towards him, very easily managing to get 2D through the portal and both of them stay there. Murdoc. What the fuck are you doing? The portal closes, Murdoc stops holding back and begins to beat his bandmate with all the superhuman strength he now possesses, but that doesn't last long, as they soon have no surface to stand on, and 2D, injured, manages to pull away from him. They both grab onto pieces of trash floating in the sea, and a couple of hours later, they forgive each other for everything they've done to each other, especially Murdoc, who has already lost the powers of the Pink Phantom due to all the emotional energy that had stirred within him. So, like in the original video, the Pink Phantom manages to escape and disappears into the distance. As the hours pass, 2D and Murdoc become exhausted and increasingly thirsty, until it becomes unbearable. Noodle, Russell, Damon, and Jamie are devastated. Noodle and Russell are as united as ever, supporting each other through the loss of half their family. Damon and Jamie are looking to pay tribute by creating one last grand concert featuring holograms of Murdoc and 2D for each of the songs. The concert is extensive and includes songs that have never been performed before or haven't been performed in years. Not to mention the dozens and dozens of collaborators on stage, creating the biggest Gorillaz concert of all and a closure for the project overall. This concert takes place sometime in 2021. Statistically speaking, Song Machine is a total success, considering that some episodes have much more action, the album's more conceptual and therefore more commercial tone, and the use of better thumbnails in the episodes has garnered many more views. Not only that, but the devastating news of Murdoc Nichols and 2D's passing is everywhere. It's a worldwide trend, especially in the music industry. Millions are listening and buying the latest Gorillaz album, intrigued to hear what it sounds like. The Gorillaz 20th anniversary box set is being released as usual. Ultimately, Forever Cult will never have its blue-petaled flower to sacrifice, and without Murdoc's essence, the Hollywood demon will likely emerge from his cave, wipe out the Forever Cult, and wreak havoc on Los Angeles until he is eradicated by the authorities. Obviously, this change seems imperceptible since most episodes of Song Machine are episodic, but in the long run, the power struggle between Murdoc and 2D escalates and ends in a battle to the death in which both perish, but they are able to forgive each other, demonstrating that this entire conflict at least allowed the characters to truly mature, even if it comes at the brink of death.